Bzzz. The alarm went off. Today is the day. I let the AI control every single thing I do, but for one day only. Let's see if the bot can help me survive through this day, shall we? I grab my laptop, open ChatGPT, and type in the most important question any Homo sapiens can ask the AI in the morning. What should I have for breakfast? The chatbot says, "Good morning. How about some scrambled eggs with toast and avocado on the side? Or if you're in the mood for something sweet, you could make some pancakes or waffles with fresh fruit and syrup. Another option could be a breakfast burrito with scrambled eggs, cheese, and your choice of meat or veggies. Hope that helps." This artificial dude talking to me is pretty sweet. And the menu he suggested is pretty good. Still, I grab my usual cup of coffee and ignore the chatbot's piece of advice. I mean, who's got time to cook all those delicacies in the morning? I brushed my teeth, took a shower, and now I gotta choose something to wear. Chatbot, need your help. What should I wear today? That depends on what your plans are for the day and the weather. If it's hot outside, you might want to wear something light and breathable like shorts and a t-shirt. If it's cooler, you could go for jeans and a sweater. If you have any specific events or activities planned, you may want to dress accordingly. Ultimately, wear whatever makes you feel comfortable and confident. Yeah, that makes sense and stuff, but it's not that informative. By the way, the weather's awesome today, and I don't really feel like working today. Hey, maybe I should skip work today. What do you think, Mr. GPT? As an AI language model, I don't have access to your work schedule or responsibilities. It's best to check with your employer or supervisor to see if you need to go to work today. Nah, that's boring. You know what? Chatbot is just like my mom. She always says the very same thing, except she's not an AI language model. Okay, Chatbot, maybe you can at least invent a decent lie to tell my boss? I'm sorry, but as an AI language model, I cannot assist you in inventing a lie to tell your boss. It's important to be honest with your employer and communicate any changes in your availability or schedule as soon as possible. If you need to take a day off, it's best to be upfront and provide a valid reason for your absence. Nah, this chatbot is like those boring kids at school. Whatever. Yeah, GPT is a cool thing if you have some actual, not a rhetorical question. It can give you a nice recipe, help with homework, or even your work project. But once you start talking to the chatbot as if it were a real person, it says, "As an AI language model," and all the fun fades away. Yeah, I definitely didn't expect it to be boring.
Technology keeps evolving at a staggering pace. Every day we're getting closer to living in a world that resembles the old yet visionary animated sitcom The Jetsons. We still don't have flying cars, but the show got many things right, from robot vacuums to 3D printers. The Jetsons also touched on the subject of AI's role in our everyday life. For example, in one episode, one of the main characters loses his job to a robot. With the rise of artificial intelligence, this is a highly likely scenario, right? Yet again, you might be relieved to hear that certain jobs will most likely always be safe from it. So let's take a look at what these professions are. But just a heads up before we begin, you might want to change your occupation by the end. The first profession on our list is social services. Throughout their careers, social service workers handle various complicated situations, such as supporting children or families with domestic conflicts. To handle such sensitive matters, they need to consider a lot of things, like relationships in the family and cultural backgrounds. They also have to come up with customized plans to address individual needs. This requires critical thinking as well as adaptability. While AI can help them gather information and make decisions, its algorithm can never fully understand that the issues at hand aren't fully black and white. In addition, social service workers have to face ethical dilemmas and make moral judgments. However, because AI is programmed on predetermined rules, it cannot replicate the complex decision-making abilities of a person. Lastly, people working with social workers often prefer someone comforting and empathetic in nature. And no chatbot can provide the emotional connections a human being can. So similar to social services, psychology is another field that is not likely to be replaced by AI. Human emotions are complex, personal, and situation-based. Take happiness, for example. One person might be so happy and excited to hop on a plane and travel, while another might feel terrified of the journey ahead. So there's no right or wrong when it comes to what to feel or when to feel it. Yet, despite these subjective factors at hand, psychologists help each and every person that requires their help to gain insight into their thoughts and behaviors. They play a key role in facilitating personal growth and healing amongst people. AI can provide data-driven insight on the issues a client might be facing, but it cannot match the deep understanding of human emotions, thoughts, and actions that psychologists bring to their practice. On top of that, psychologists need to provide a safe and non-judgmental environment for their clients to establish trust. This will allow the clients to share their thoughts, feelings, and experiences more comfortably. However, an AI system won't be able to truly replicate the same level of empathetic, compassionate, and sincere atmosphere. Who would want ChatGPT to know their deepest fears? Not me. All the things I've mentioned so far are applicable to healthcare and physical therapy as well. The healthcare industry already uses some AI-powered tools to diagnose and prescribe remedies. However, these technologies are not advanced enough to replace healthcare workers entirely. There are several reasons for that. First of all, healthcare workers require a high level of interpersonal skills to approach patients in the right way. AI will fail to address their concerns and provide the emotional support they might need. Secondly, human bodies are complex. You think? Any diagnosis needs to take a range of factors into consideration, such as medical history or patient behavior. This requires a certain level of intuition and experience on the health worker's part, which is difficult to replicate with AI. They say teaching is a noble profession for a reason. Nowadays, many people turn to the internet to gain information or take online classes to learn new skills. But that doesn't indicate that teachers will be replaced by AI, because teaching is not simply delivering the necessary information to students. Each student might have different learning styles. For example, one might learn best with visual examples, while another might grasp information better by doing hands-on experiments. This requires teachers to be able to understand their students' needs and adjust their teaching methods accordingly. But that's not it. How many times did you fall and hurt your knee while running around the schoolyard? It was your teacher who wiped your tears and helped you, right? And how many times have you thought you didn't have what it takes to jump from the tall hurdle in physical education class? You probably didn't believe in yourself, but your teacher did. So, teachers provide emotional support, encouragement, and inspiration. They also create a safe and supportive learning environment. No AI can provide that, at least so far. Come on now, admit it. You have at least one favorite court drama show. Man, those are popular for a reason. It feels so satisfying to watch fancy lawyers in sharp suits find loopholes in the system, yell "objection," and bring justice. So, although AI has already been used for a few legal tasks, you might be relieved to hear that lawyers are not going to be replaced by it anytime soon. One of the most important reasons they won't lose their court seats to a robot is because legal professions require a high level of critical thinking as well as creativity. Lawyers analyze complex legal issues and provide their advice based on a range of factors, which include moral considerations and legal precedents. And during court, only lawyers can come up with persuasive and detailed arguments, as they can understand and deal with human problems better. AI cannot replace such nuanced thinking and decision-making skills. Artists, musicians, and all kinds of creative jobs require originality, imagination, and the ability to think outside the box. Creative professionals need to possess a deep understanding of human emotions as well as culture. They must also not be afraid to dive deep into their thoughts. That is the only way a musician can create meaningful works that will be streamed by millions, or a filmmaker will shoot a movie that will evoke powerful emotions. On the other hand, AI operates on existing data and patterns. That's why the imaginative aspect of creative work would be difficult for it to replicate. AI systems also lack the ability to experience emotions and appreciate aesthetics and art in the way a human can. So it can't produce something meaningful and relevant. Yet again, it can undoubtedly help creative professionals with certain tasks, such as generating ideas or analyzing data. Well, this one's kind of obvious if you ask me. AI models didn't suddenly appear out of nowhere. They are the result of many naturally intelligent, get it, software engineers' work. Or in other words, AI models have parents too. There's no guarantee that any AI program will run seamlessly. One wouldn't be wrong to assume that there might be issues. Software engineers make sure that such bugs are fixed and the software is updated according to the needs. So these parents are needed to run the AI models. Guess no occupation gets any more AI-proof than that. You might have heard about the one major issue surrounding AI programs. It is that they are often biased in one way or another and can report incorrect information. But any type of biased comment or action can be disastrous within a company. Human resources employees, on the other hand, need to ensure workplace processes are functioning effectively in order to prevent prejudice and discrimination. But that's not it. HR employees also mediate conflicts and handle workplace complaints. AI models won't be able to handle the complexity of these issues. That's why HR employees will always be needed. Now, last but not least, we have, applause please, actors. But specifically, theater actors. Hear me out. The theater experience is an interactive one. Once the red curtains open, there's an immediate connection between the actors and the audience. Theater actors evoke powerful emotions in real time, and they adapt to the audience's reactions, as well as bring a personal touch to the characters they embody through their gestures, movements, and vocal techniques. Technology will certainly enhance certain aspects of the theater experience, but AI can never spark such a deep level of emotional connection and replicate creative decision-making. Nowadays, it seems like everyone in the world has a new best friend who helps them with their schoolwork or jobs, answers whatever question occupies their mind, and even gives life advice if they need any. And the best part is this friend is always within reach. But who is it? Or more like, what is it? It's none other than ChatGPT, of course. But there's a catch. You need to ask the right questions or choose the right words when chatting with it. In other words, you need to lead it in a certain direction to get solid answers. And don't be fooled by how simple that sounds. Trust me, writing on-point prompts is trickier than it looks. But I've got you covered. Here are some awesome tips that will help you get the best results from your conversations. First things first, always a good place to start. ChatGPT is smart, but it can't read your mind. That's why you need to be as clear, specific, and concise as possible in your questions or instructions. This helps it understand the extent of your request further, thereby providing more relevant responses. For example, "Tell me about exercising" is probably not a great prompt that will help you get a detailed and satisfying answer. Instead, it is better to ask, "Can you tell me what the health benefits of doing exercise are?" Secondly, avoid writing ambiguous terms in your prompts. The more context you provide to ChatGPT, the better. By doing this, you'll be helping it understand the topic you're writing about more accurately. Let's say you want to ask ChatGPT if it can write some song lyrics for you. Instead of just asking, "Can you write me a song?" you can include information about what you want the theme of your song to be, what music genre you have in mind for the potential song, and so on. The third tip I have for you is to avoid asking simple yes or no questions, because that will only give you generic and simple answers. On the other hand, if you ask open-ended questions that begin with what, why, how, or could you explain, it's more likely that you'll get a much more nuanced and personalized response. For example, instead of asking, "Is pizza any good?" perhaps the dumbest question in the world, wouldn't you agree? Try asking instead, "What are the popular types of pizza all around the world?" The fourth tip I have is kind of a suggestion. ChatGPT is not a human, and get over it. But that still doesn't make using slang and inappropriate words okay when writing prompts. Yeah, it probably won't get confused, shocked, or offended if you use such language. After all, it is an AI language model, which has the ability to understand and process a wide range of language styles. However, ChatGPT itself says that it may not always provide appropriate responses to such language. Don't believe me? Ask it yourself. And if there's even the slightest chance that a sci-fi movie-like future awaits us, it might be a good idea to treat it with kindness and respect. Stay on ChatGPT's good side just in case the Terminator shows up. As for the fifth tip, once you send a question and ChatGPT doesn't give you an answer to your liking, don't give up on it just yet. Try editing your prompt with new and more relevant keywords to help ChatGPT better understand what you're looking for and focus on the critical elements of your question. But sometimes, things might get too much for ChatGPT too. And I don't mean the fact that it receives around 10 million inquiries per day. If your question is something too complex, like how to set up an online store and promote it, it's better to break it down into two questions. If you ask something like, "What steps shall I take to set up an online store?" to be followed by, "What are some effective advertising strategies for an online store?" ChatGPT will be able to give you a more detailed response. In addition, you can also ask ChatGPT follow-up questions to clarify a response or even expand on it. For example, if your initial question is something like, what are the benefits of using AI tools? You can always expand on it with another question, such as, can you provide specific examples of how AI tools can be used in copywriting? The ChatGPT model is called artificial intelligence for a reason. It's always learning and improving, and it can learn how to respond to you better according to the directions you will give. So my seventh tip for you is to give it feedback. Let it get to know you and what you want out of your chat with it. If you think the response you get for your prompt is not what you were expecting, let the model know so that it can understand what went wrong and generate a new and improved response. For instance, let's say you ask ChatGPT to create a social media post about a product you're selling. However, you think the response you got is lacking a sincere tone. You can tell ChatGPT exactly that so it can regenerate the text for you. But remember to always be kind. Getting harsh criticism is not easy for anyone. Maybe promise to send it some chocolate. My eighth tip is don't be afraid to experiment. You literally can't go wrong. It's not like you can only ask a limited number of questions to ChatGPT. So, if you're feeling stuck or bored, let ChatGPT inspire you. Try asking it to generate several types of content, such as stories, poems, jokes, or even images, what we used to call pictures. Even if you don't get anything useful out of your experimental chat, it sure will be fun to see what the model will produce. Here are some examples of fun prompts for you to try. Write a fanfiction about the Hunger Games saga, but include a Hogwarts wizard as one of the tributes. Pretend you're a rapper who has to sing an aria at the opera. Explain to me how you feel before you walk to the stage. Create a game in which the main character is a failed sorcerer's apprentice who accidentally turns their master into a potato. Last but not least, do your research on ChatGPT. Learn what you can get out of it as well as what you can't. ChatGPT certainly has its limitations. The model cannot go beyond the knowledge and information that has been fed into its database. It's also not capable of understanding sarcasm or irony, which can sometimes lead to inaccurate or inappropriate responses. It lacks real-world experience. It cannot draw from emotions or feelings to generate responses. It can only use text-based inputs and cannot process visual or auditory inputs. Language and cultural barriers still apply, since it may not be familiar with certain cultural contexts. But these limitations don't change the fact that it's a technological marvel. As long as you get the hang of writing effective prompts, the things you can achieve with ChatGPT are endless. So here are some cool things you can do with ChatGPT that you might not be aware of yet. You can get your answers from ChatGPT in a tabular form if you ask for it. It's even possible to have them produced in a standard format that other programs such as Microsoft Excel can understand. You can use ChatGPT to create prompts for other AI tools, such as DALL-E. It can translate text into other languages and check grammar and punctuation mistakes for you. You can get it to explain difficult scientific concepts to you, or simplify hard-to-understand texts. ChatGPT can help you make new recipes, get ready for family dinners, plan for vacations, create playlists, give you exercise programs, and help you live your best life. You'll be able to create a new and more effective CV with ChatGPT's help. Careful prompting will even allow you to get answers from ChatGPT in the style of your favorite author. Now, before I leave you rushing to ChatGPT's website to try everything you've just heard, you need to know prompt engineering is actually becoming a specialized skill of its own. So, if you really get the hang of it, who knows? Maybe you'll be the #1 employee every company wants to hire, because even ChatGPT needs a director.